Bonjour, hi everyone. Greg from Paris is here to show you some whiskies. I say that on purpose because I am still not 100% back, nosing and tasting wise, but I will still have a whiskey, not really assess it. Will tell you later on what's in my glass. But I'm 100% sure for now I won't be able to get everything out of it, but as it is in my collection, wherever status it has, I wanted to try it today along with you. Talking about status, this video is a sequel to the previous one. You can keep only 5 whiskies challenge that I divided in 3 steps and options, if you like, and I withdrew the first option, and after thinking about it, talking about some of the bottles with some people online, I finally decided that I will still talk about those because they led me to a few points that are a bit current right now, and might be interesting to learn more about this. But before that, I don't say that often. If you like the video, once it's finished, please click the like button, comment if you feel like, and click on the notification bell, all notifications, in order not to miss the future videos or live shows, which I hope to be able to resume soon. And it helps for statistics and for YouTube proposal to you and to newcomers to my channel to watch it. Otherwise it's lost in thousands of proposals. Right, so here's what I will propose to you today is, in the you can keep only 5 whiskies of your collection, there is a possibility, I know it will be frustrating for many, but it's more information and opinion about the bottles and information about the market, how it was, how it is now, very quickly, centered around those 5 bottles, right? So the option here is you can keep only 5 whiskies among the best ones of your collections, right? Among the best ones of your collections. It is totally subjective, and I picked whiskies for which apparently, at maybe one exception, but you cannot see it because the glass is dark, there is enough whiskey to show it in the bottle and not in a sample and the empty bottle on the side. I was kind of obliged to do that for one option or two in a few videos, but I don't like to do that. So that is why you won't see my Bunnahabhain 1968, 41 years old Adelphi. It's just because I don't want to put the content back for now. Maybe I will do it when it will be less hot, when I'll do a Bunnahabhain rundown. We'll see, because it looks beautiful in the bottle. Same reason for a few other bottles, but you will see 5 of my best, there is no doubt about that. And we're gonna start right now with the first one. The order, mind you, is not the preference order, it is the tasting order, though it can be difficult, right, as far as we will go. For the 3 last, it was a bit difficult. But it's easy to present you the first one now, which is a Balblair. And I talked about it on social media. I'm gonna show you the bottle from close. As usual, here is this beautiful you see with the picked motifs I talked about on Instagram. It was for another bottle, but a 1997 vintage, but this one is one to really focus on among the ones I have tried. I have a sample of the 1990, which is very popular, but I haven't opened yet, as well as have a lot of other samples due to a swap with Chris, who's a great collector, a French guy called Rack, great collector of Balblair, among other brands, Glen Murray as well. We'll come back in due course to Glen Murray, which is a distillery I enjoy a lot as well. I will give you details I have about this bottle, but also show you something which was in my mind since I did these pictures for my archives. The pictures, the previous one was were not good, so I had to redo some about the 1997, which has a complete different packaging, but when I say completely different in the way it works, to open it, for instance. And it's smaller than this. So this is, I will tell you more about this version. This is 27 years old, distilled in 1991, bottled in 2018. It's the third release of the 1991 vintage. It opens up like this, there's magnets. The bottle goes on the middle, and there you have John MacDonald, who had the chance to make a lot of time distillery manager, but also involved in blending. And on the other side you have some nice views, the warehouse and the fields around. And here's the back, and as usual you have the letter beautifully made there, and you have this which has disappeared. So we rent of the okay, it's stylized, it's our artistic vision of Highlands landscape, but I love this, and as a painter I will also defend it and complain about the desperation of the drop off. There's too much reflections. It's hot outside again, and there's some and it's sunny, and I still have not solved. I don't want to hide completely the windows, it will be too dark, but yeah, there you have it. It's quite dark. This one is not colored, non-chill filtered. You know, if you read my Instagram long post about long text about the early Balblairs, even with the rebranding the first year or so, 2007 I think, they were still maintaining chill filtration and coloring with E158. Yes, did you know that? It's only around 2008-9, something like that, that they drop off everything and they put the core range to 46% ABV, natural color, non-chill filtered. What can I say about this one? It was my second Whiskey of the Year 2018. The list is on my website, and I talked also about it on video. I think I did a video about that. The first one was, believe me or not, it was first release, so 11 years old, of the Lot 40 cask strength. Yeah, it was the first on the list, and this one was the second. This is a Highland malts from a distillery I had the chance to visit from the 18th century. I will do a rundown about Balblair, the Balblair bottles I have, and samples later on when I feel better. So we won't taste this, but it is very complex. It's in high praise for me. I only have a bottle, mind you. I should have stocked up 2 others, but you will understand how why it's difficult now. The profile of this, floral, fruity, very complex, typically from the Highlands, but it's kind of sweetened Balblair compared to the others because it's also 27 years old, but also the kind of cask they choose. Ex-bourbon American oak and then sherry butts of first fill. I don't know the proportions, but it seems quite balanced. And what is very interesting is you get the best from the two, the sherry and the bourbon. So you have some sweet spices, you have vanilla, but you also have a wide array of flavors, aroma and nosing and tasting wise. I won't even try to enter into this. I wrote here in French, symphonie de saveur, a symphony of flavors, floral, fruity, heady flowers ahead, and then also some tiche, peaches, oranges, apricots, lots of things. And I wrote the finish is infinitely subtle. The rating for this, no surprise, gets up to 96 out of 100 in my own scale, so probably 91 in others, or 90, because I go up to 100. Once again, you have my rating system on my website. Now this is a very particular case because I also wanted to speak about price for high-end whiskies, or among the great ones. Because if you're trying to get my favorite Balblair ever, which is the 38 years old official with age statement, I tried probably 15 years ago or more, 2005 or 7, I don't remember now, 5, 6 probably. You will need now 5 numbers, 5 digits, 10,000 euros or something, 9,000. So just forget it. This one was retailing in France at around in 2018 when I got it. Was retailing around 167 euros in La Maison du Whisky in Paris, the famous channel of shops. But very strangely, it was overpriced regarding the original UK market, because at Master of Malt you had it for 134 euros in equivalence, right? Now, when I say overpriced, it was not overpriced. It was, I believe now, underpriced. Because 27 years old, even at that time, I think it was impossible to get this at that price. It was very fair price. If you look at other age statements, I mean, 300 or 400 I would have understood. I couldn't afford it. Even 250 minimum was probably the decent price for this. But guess what? I didn't spend I spent €0 for this. Yeah, can you believe that? I didn't spend any euro for that. I just played when it was allowed, and when Master of Malt was doing this game for Christmas with people online on international basis. They were delivering in France at that time. They don't, unfortunately, like Whisky Exchange. I hope this will be back again to normal soon. As I understood, it's not only Brexit, it also linked to French specific regulations and agreements, commercial agreements, and shipping issues, something like that. This remains a bit obscure because other shops do send their whiskies in France, so not happy with that explanation. Right, this so I did during a month or a bit more. They were asking wishes, the famous Whiskey Santa wish. Everybody could post on social media, Twitter I think especially, what they wanted from the catalog of Master of Malt. And I did, honestly, because I tried it, and it was before going to the distillery, I think, Whiskey Life Paris. I asked for this every day. So the fact that it was repeated over and over and over a month did increase, I think, the statistics. I was not the only one to ask for this, but by real chance I got to win it for free, so I'm super happy, as it is one of my probably top 5 or top 10 bottles. Okay, I've been super long on this one, but it was also to speak about pricing. Now let's make some move for the second bottle. Again, it's not the preferred order, though the first one starts very high in score. Second one is something very special. I was alerted by an informal group of friends I'm part of. We do on regular basis blind tastings, etc. Or we did before the pandemic. We didn't gather since. And we are all doing things blind. And I said, what is this whiskey? It's fantastic. It's fully old school sherry whiskey. Sherried whiskey. It's something very unusual, and it's a distillery style, even if the oak and the sherry talks a lot. I have no idea what it is because I haven't tried a lot of distills of these whiskies. And there you go. It's an independent bottling from, at that time they were not calling themselves publicly Elixir Distillers, but the Specialty Drinks Limited. So behind this company is, of course, Sukhinder Singh and his brother. And you see it's a UK exclusive, so I got to order it. We did a group order. In fact, everyone wanted a bottle of this. It's a 35 years old Glenallachie, picked by Sukhinder Singh and his staff for the 10th anniversary of the Whiskey Exchange, as it says, anniversary selection. It is distilled in 1975 and bottled in 2010. There's only 685 bottles of this, and it's first fill sherry. And yeah, it was retailing around 150 pounds in 2013 when I had it. And I had it the equivalent to 175 euros. It's one of the most expensive bottles I had spent for, because when I tried it I thought it was really a great price for such an old Glenallachie. I forgot to mention for the Balbler, if you want it now, you can still find it online at around 200 euros, but it jumps to 500 quickly. Current Balbler 25, it's over 500, so you see the difference in pricing now. But to go back to this Glenallachie, I was very surprised to find the only price I could find was on Whiskey Base at 339 euros, which was very surprising. But most often the people who sells those bottles individually, it's also there's retailers, but in that case it is not. They don't sell, they don't send it to France, so I cannot buy another one, and even it's too expensive for me. What can I say else about this one? I forgot to score it, or I just put a subjective note of 18.75 out of 20 by something that tastes, I will go back to it, don't worry, when I'll do a review about Glenallachie's. It's the only one I have in my collection, mind you, for now. And I didn't mention it's 46.9% ABV. It says natural color, but it doesn't speak about filtering. I suspect there's a sweet filtering into that to get rid of the bits of casks, but I'm not sure. So there you have it, 35 years old. How does it taste? You will be surprised, there's no notes here. Yeah, apologies, I didn't do my work. I'm sure I have some notes somewhere because I always report some notes after the group meeting, but the group meeting was 10 years ago. And I didn't prepare well. Sorry. It was quite a tiring week. I didn't prepare a lot this video. I apologize. But I still wanted to speak about those bottles. The profile. I can speak about profile. Of course, I tried it two or three times. Dusty, but in a good way, not in some current ways I see sometimes in Tamdu or in. I love Tamdu, mind you, but those last years. By last years, I mean before the pandemic. I was not super happy with the dusty sherried oak they have. But this one, I forgot to show the box. Everything is very simple. Even the label, it's very sober. It's the word I can say. It's old school sherry. Lots of oak, but partly tamed oak. It doesn't resemble to contemporary sherry monsters. I wouldn't say per se it's a sherry monster, but it's something soaked in oak, but the best oak with lots of nice things, raisin, dates, figs. It's not something bringing you to the brighter side of sherry monsters, which might include some red fruits, some heady flowers, no, etc. No, it's more on the dark side with the ripe, with figs, dates, things very dark. It has also an oriental side of it, Middle East if you prefer, side of it, flavor wise and aromas wise. It's something I will go back to. In fact, you have during a live show I did a tasting of this. So you have to track back, or maybe I put the link in the description. Yeah, I think I will do that for all the bottles, because there are, for some I have, almost all. I have videos where it's mentioned or tasted. Right. Why do I have this before me and not that? Yeah, because of the rating. Okay, I have to stop with this one. So beautiful bottle, and something that I'm sure today I will never be able to get under 500 or 700 euros. So there you have it, two of my favorite whiskies of my collections. It was hard to choose the order of the following ones, because there's a battle between bourbon casks and sherry monsters, but there's also so much subtlety in the next one that it would have been a crime to put it at last, while it's probably, along with the last one of today, the best of the set in a way. And what is this? I continue to speak about this. It's a Lecheg, and it's a Lecheg 13 years old only. This is another lesson you will see with some bottles here. Yes, they are very old, great whiskies in my collection, among the top 5 or top 10. But there are two whiskies, this one and the next one, which is only 13 years old and which raise a lot of others from 20 to 30 or more years old. At this point, some people might think, well, Greg, we haven't seen any Port Ellen, your favorite distillery, yet. Yes, because first one I'm going to show you only bottles, not samples and not memories of those I had before, otherwise this won't be there and replaced by a Port Ellen official release, or in the I tried. But I only have a Port Ellen left, which is 33 years old. It's an independent bottling. It is very good, but nowhere near my favorite Port Ellen ones. While this one, this Lecheig, comes very close to my favorite Port Ellen and beats my current Port Ellen. Though not exactly the same profile, it is a really stunning whiskey. Now, it is Elixir Distillers, so single malt, the single malts of Scotland range, like the Glenallachie you saw. It is a single cask, cask 10,019. It was distilled in 2004, as you can see, on February, and bottled in March 2017. This is a hogshead giving 292 bottles only, and this is a working distillery, yes. This is bottles unchilled, filtered, natural colored at 56.6% ABV. This one was bottled in 2017, and the same year there was another one I tried, which was not as great as this one, and the next years and even after, they did a sherried, same age, which I tried but didn't bought because it was more expensive. Yeah, talking about price, this one was 86 euros in a retailer. I had it on August 2018, so 1 year after. If I knew how good it was, I would have taken others before. It was sold out. It is sold out now, but surprisingly I can see it on Whiskey Base at 135, which is, I didn't say nothing, but they don't deliver here once again. If you want to do, I rarely say that, if you want to do a donation to the channel and buy it and send it to me in exchange of a generous sample, let me know. I'm into that for a second bottle, but we'll see that. Okay, why do I do that in public? This is crazy, because I love this bottle. What is this bottle displaying? I will look at my notes, and I know I won't achieve it, but I will try to see what's going on now in my abilities of tasting. Or should I try, and I will tell you after. So I top this with my glass with a whiskey shared coin. I'm not into coins, you know that. I don't have coins for my channel, but I like to get some when I can. There you have it. And again, I will put a link, because I did try it on video on my channel already, and the legs are very thin and they're sticking quite a while. I'm not sure you see them. This is very clear, this Chardonnay color, and not even as bright as some. Well, let's see what I can get from this masterpiece. And I have two other whiskies, mind you. Oh my god. Yeah, I still can get the charm of this one. I mean, this is a stunning nose of one of the most beautiful peated, moderately peated, but yeah, 30, almost 40, decently peated hogshead, but there's a lot of bourbon influence in there. It's a bit more tight. There's some sweet spices. There's this beautiful aniseed, star anise, sorry, note that I love in Isla's. Yeah, it's not Isla, but it could be an Isla. Blind, I guarantee you that if you had this blind, you will not necessarily mention Lecheig and not necessarily mention it's a 13 years old. You will probably go over 20. I sent some flowers, but not much more. I read mineral almonds, ashy peat, very clean peat though. I read flowers, mixed flowers, and citrus fruit. Also some on the peated side, some creosote, some seashore notes, some what's in English? Fresh tar. When you see on the roads, the workers are mending the pavement, and they are putting fresh tar. And this, if you're not too far, you can feel some not too bad smell of it. Kind of tarmac as well after rain. It's a complex peat profile, but also floral and fruity, maritime, of course, profile. I remember also, did I mention it? Yeah, all almonds. There's some almond paste, unsugared or lightly sugared almond paste. Something I really love in this whiskey. Sorry, I don't have real bronchitis, but it comes and goes, and it's painful for tastings. Slangeva. I'm not used to such high ABV these days. 56.6. I will add water immediately. Also because the bottles are still a bit hot. This will be perfectly maintained at around 18-20 degrees Celsius. I wish I have a nice house only for these kinds of bottles. Yeah, I did add some fresh mineral water. But on the palate, despite the heat, normally I don't feel such heat, but we're in hot season here. And it's hard for me to protect all the bottles. It's another topic. I will come to it at some point in video. Yeah, it reminds me of a cleaner indie, especially Port Ellens. I had from 21 to 28 years old. Douglas Lang, Barry Bross, who else? Now I'm gonna forget the names. Sorry. There are several ones. Yeah, man, again a translation problem. I have a few notes I cannot translate, sorry. But again, you have the oh, there's a fly. I don't want it in my whiskey. Again, you have this complex floral fruity style on the palate that's really shining and developing over and over. This is the finish is absolutely insane, even neat and with a bit of heat. And now I'm gonna try it with a few drops. Oh. I know I'm not getting all details, but the main ones, and even the main ones, this is beautiful combination of floral, fruity, maritime. It has something of an old Talisker as well, so it's definitely an island whiskey, but it's like a synthesis of the most beautiful peated, moderately peated, but still significantly peated whiskey. It's gonna be a way longer video than I thought, because I'm tasting this. And I know, because also I'm talkative about my favorite whiskies. And I see I could have picked some others. Here is my Glenmore 22 years old. Here is an old 10 Springbank. Where am I? 20 years old Talisker. What else? Oh, Karizawa. Highland Park 21. Dalmore 73, 1973. We will talk about this. There's a Rosebank here, and it's an old blend, among other whiskies. So, yeah, it's kind of tribute to my rare stuff on my t-shirt as well, so now you know. So this comes with a sober box, a bit like the Kitten Heads and the Berry Bros ones. Less packaging, less cost. I still need packaging on my side, talked already about it, but less expensive packaging, less final cost for the whiskey. Don't forget that. Okay, next one I recently reviewed, so I won't be very long about this one. This is a Bowmore that was only available at the distillery at the time. Comes with this beautiful box. Well, beautiful, I could have been better, but with some protection, so it's comfortably sitting there and almost unphotographable and unreadable. This is a selection of casks that's supposed to be picked by the maltmans of the and you can see their names here, of the Bowmore distillery, in my opinion supervised by Eddie McCaffer. Hope to see you again, Eddie. And those guys selected 5 casks, 5 sherry butts, in fact, right? I think it's sherry butts. What else can I say? It was distilled in July 13 of 1995 and bottled in 2008. Yeah, I know. We have cask numbers 1551, 1552, 1553, 1559 and 1560 for their selected for their individual distinct character and married together to produce this 13 years old blah blah blah. Bottled out straight from the cask at the natural strength of 54.6. It doesn't say though nowhere if it's natural color or not, which I'm not happy about that. No, nowhere. But it's in the Craftsman collection, in which there have been other releases since, not many. This was only 3,000 bottles, and this is a complete masterpiece. I rated it 94. Forgot to tell you that I rated this, you won't believe me, 96.5, so even higher than the Ball Blair. Go figure. Why? I told you, there's a lot of charm and amazingness doesn't exist. This is not a traditional sherry monster either, like the Glenallachie, but it is a treat for lovers of dark chocolate, dark sherry, and subtle, beautiful oak. This is really a great whiskey, and there's even lots of coffee coming in. It's rated for now 94, but it still has to open like many Bowmores. This was retailing for, you won't believe me either, in 2011, when a friend of mine brought me back from his, I've never been there yet, I'm ashamed, I know, but possibilities, cost, etc. I have to visit Islay, and definitely that's for sure. But it's a friend of mine who brought me this back, and at that time at the distillery shop, yeah, I have to mention Mike. Hi Mike, hope you're well. £100 was the price even in 2011. It was released in 2008. It was £100, which is insane. If I knew, but I tried this. Oh yeah, I forgot to say. First time I tried this at a friend among my group of informal old club of tasters. I had a tear in my eye. I tasted this blind and I said, "Oh, what is that?" And when he told me it was Balmore, I said, "An official one?" I said, "Oh my God, they're still able to produce that. This is really great to know." Of course, it's nowhere near the current core range, but this is really a beautiful one. Like I said, chocolate, black tea, Earl Grey tea, hint of violet but not overpowering, ripe fruit, spices, some coffee, some some again Oriental pastries, some rare Greek ones in particular. This is a fantastic whiskey. You'll learn more about my thoughts on my video about Balmore. I did a series of 3 videos, 2 or 3, because I had a lot of Balmores, and this is part of it. Again, I put the links. Last but not least, it will not be a surprise for you, and this is a kind of special for those who missed it. Yes, it's Yoichi, my favorite active distillery, and it's from Japan, Hokkaido. And this is, yep, not a great box, because when you open it again, it almost fell on your on the table. I'm not super happy. They could have made something better for such a high-end stuff. Still looking good, mind you. And this is of course my 25 years old Yoichi, heavily peated. What did I say? The Balmore, you can have it for around 650 to 1,000 euros. Yeah, I know, but this one is worstly priced. It's a shame what they ask for. This one was gifted to me, as I said in the video. Please check out my long videos also about some great stuff like that, and you won't see that in many other videos, honestly. This is rare stuff, but it also teaches us things about the quality of the distillate and the distillery. And also in those videos about Yoichi, I'm giving you a lot of information, but enough said. This is a single cask. This is warehouse number 25, bottled at 62% ABV. This is cask 100, sorry, 15. Sorry. It's good I haven't tried 3, 4, 5 of these whiskies, because I'm not into that. Bottled in 2013. I mean, I have a few issues. This was bottled for La Maison du Whisky. This was retailing, it's another example, very interesting for once, for them, at 185 euros. Was priced that way, so which is in 2013, so 2 years before the shortage of old casks from Yoichi and Miyagi-Kyo as well, but also at, this is for Nikka, but for Suntory also, the old age statements, even they're 12, and but it's a different story. Anyway, at Nikka, was one of the last, very last. I don't know if there's one other after. I'm not sure for La Maison du Whisky. I think it's the last one. I mean, Yoichi was. They had also some cask strength Nikka that year. Coffee malt and coffee grain cask strength, which were insanely good. This is quite different from the 45% ones, believe me. So again, this is something that's absolutely crazy. They rated it 97.5 out of 100 and beyond any category. What can you get into that? In my website you can read 39 to 40 or a bit more different aromatic descriptors for this whiskey I found in there. It's easier when you have the bottle to dig in more to find other flavors, but there's no other whiskey I have yet to found around 40 different notes among those I own, because of course if you had a bottle at your disposal for a whole evening and a few days, you can make something out of it, probably more than I do when I try once, or even with a wee sample. What can I say? It's of course it's oaky. There's no Mizunara in it because they don't use Mizunara in Nika. There's some sandalwood, there's some rosewood, there's lots of dates, prunes, there's some also very typical incense myrrh notes, some heavily but also very intensely integrated, I don't like that, a lot integrated. Okay, sorry for the searching my words in English, but even in French maybe. So super complex and on the nose, even more complex on the palate. Yeah, you have some Lapsang Souchong tea, you have some bergamot tea, you had some flowers, you had a great ashy smoke. One of the most complex peated whiskies I ever had. This is fantastic, and this unfortunately is sold by La Maison du Whisky today as a collector at I just checked it out before the video, 9,200 euros. What a shame. And on the Golden Promise bar in Paris, which is the bar which is under La Maison du Sake, the House of Sake, in the center of Paris. When you go downstairs, you have 3 different bars. Honestly, I've never been there. I have a nice collection, so I know I have a lot of whiskies to try there. I never tried. There are over 1,000 whiskies. They're linked directly to La Maison du Whisky. They're good people, I heard. It's not a... But they charge for, if I understood well, a centiliter and a half of this. They will charge you 175 euros. Voila. Now that I know that, and now also that I see the level getting low, even if I've been generous with some people coming there, I will still pour it to a selection of people I think which are in capacity to enjoy it, because it's quite special and quite difficult one for the beginners, but I will save them more I can, because it's not replaceable. Right, okay, I think I've been long enough, too long, or as often, if not always. But yeah, there you have it, and I think it's a nice, isn't it a nice series of bottles, or what? Yeah, okay, I could have put there some Irish, American, Canadian, yeah, and other Scottish and French. But it's another story. I had to make choices, like I said. So I hope it was still interesting for you. I will chapterize this after for those coming in the replay, and put links to the videos or places where you can find more about those whiskies. Thank you very much for watching. See you.